Hello, this is Mr. Wyrick. This is your Chapter 2 review. I'm just going to look through the book here real quick and tell you real quickly all the different stuff that we did as part of Chapter 2 so that you can go back over this stuff on your own for the review. On Lesson 2.1, it was Inductive Reasoning and Conjecture. That means that we are basing our reactions to a pattern. So something has been happening over and over again. These people always eat at this place on Tuesday, so this next Tuesday we can expect that they're going to eat there. As far as a pattern number-wise, this is one that usually makes more sense. If we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, we expect the next number to be 12. We can see the patterns happening as every even number, or we're adding 2 to the previous number, however you want to say it. So we understand that the next number is going to be 2 more. So that's our inductive reasoning. And then the conjecture then would be the next thing. Don't forget there's counterexamples. If you can come up with a counterexample, it tends to disprove something. Counterexamples aren't usually enough to prove something on their own, but they are usually good enough to prove something is wrong, if you can find it. 2.2 was logic. We had the statements, the Q and the R, and we had the negation of those statements with the tilde. Don't forget the little V symbol means that we're doing or. The little A without the crossbar that I keep putting a crossbar and just making it into A means we're doing something and something else. So if they're true, you know, this is what's going on. If they're true, this is what's going on. Those if-then statements, remember the if part is the hypothesis, the then part is the conclusion. And remember how to read a Venn diagram, especially if it has multiple sections to it. You might look that back over in the book. Lesson 2.3 was the conditional statements. That's actually more of the if-then. Don't forget, if the hypothesis is false, it doesn't matter what the conclusion is, the whole statement is true. If I say, if tomorrow is Christmas, then I'm going to fly home, the fact that tomorrow is not Christmas means anything could happen there, but it's a true statement because tomorrow is not going to be Christmas, so the second part can't really depend on it. It's all if-then. Don't forget about the converse, means we're moving them around. So we switch the if and the then, the hypothesis and the conclusion. The inverse means we are changing them from a positive statement to a negative statement. And then the contrapositive means we are taking them, switching them around, and changing them from a positive to a negative statement. Okay? In some rare cases, everything you can say about this is true. In some cases, in most cases, if the original statement's true, only the contrapositive is true. The converse and the inverse will usually be false. So be wary if something and its inverse or converse are true. Those are pretty rare statements. It won't happen all the time. 2.4 was deductive reasoning, meaning we were using the law of detachment and the law of syllogism. Law of detachment is something like all frogs croak and Timmy is a frog, so our conclusion is Timmy will croak because all frogs croak. The other part of deductive reasoning is the law of syllogism, which is like, if I can run a mile, I must be in shape. If I'm in shape, then I won't die of a heart attack. So if I can run a mile, I won't die of a heart attack. That one's not a great thing there, but you understand that the conclusion of the first statement is usually the hypothesis of the second one, and that's how we can get from the hypothesis of the first one to the conclusion of the second statement. It's law of syllogism, and it kind of comes back when we're doing some of the proof stuff, the transitive properties, those kind of things. 2.5 was postulates and paragraph proofs. So these things almost always happen so that we can say, okay, this is this, this is this, this is this. Remember, you might go back over these, especially if you made a cheat sheet. The 3 points determine a plane, 3 non-collinear points determine a plane, 2 planes intersect in a line, 2 lines intersect in a point, anything like that. 2.6, the algebraic proofs. This is when we were solving for x, but they had what x was going to be, and we had to show what we had done to get there and say what each part was. So remember, those are the subtractive property, the additive property, the multiplication property, the division property, the associative property, substitution, all those things that we can use to get to the end of a problem like that. 2.6, yeah, that was the algebraic proofs. the last two of them, 2-7, proving the segment relationships. So if we know it's the midpoint, the two halves are equal. If we know that two of them are equal, what can we prove from there? The two-column proofs, again with that definition, midpoint, transitive property, all those same kind of things that we were doing before. And then 2-8, the angle relationships. So this was a long lesson as far as the video kind of went, and a lot of things about the angle relationships, the congruent complements, the congruent supplements, the vertical angles, and measuring with a protractor, all those kind of things. Make sure you understand those. You're going to have 2 days worth of review. You're going to have Thursday and Friday. We'll come back Monday and take the test, go back over that stuff over the weekend. Make sure you're ready for it. We'll take that test, and then we'll move on to Chapter 3.